Stars, one creator has a theory that Kate Middleton actually makes her own money from the clothes she wears. Often the stuff she's photographed wearing will sell out. Is that true, Stars? This creator imagines companies gift her with their clothes or even pay her to wear them. How could that be? I thought the royal family had very strict rules about having to pay for any items. Her outfits create press too. It's not like the press can talk about their work and accomplishments, meaning Will and Kate's work and accomplishments, because there aren't that much of them. There's maybe 2 weeks worth of work and accomplishments a year if you call having your photo taken at a bakery while you run your fingers through your hair work or accomplishment. But they're a boring family, and the only thing to talk about is what new hat or shoe or outfit Kate is wearing. I personally question where the sold out outfits are. Put a 1 in the chat if you have ever bought a dress, a shoe, a purse because Kate Middleton wore it. I'm not saying I hate all her clothes. No, there's some of them that are quite nice, but the ones I like are terribly expensive, and some of the other ones aren't for me. It's curious that the palaces have said that they will no longer cover what all Kate is wearing, and it feels like she's being tormented, or maybe they're keeping her clothes away from her, right? Coercion and control. She can only do what she's allowed to do and can only wear what she's allowed to wear, can only do her hair the way that the budget extended to her will allow, right? So we're seeing a vast difference in the way that Kate is styled head to toe. Makeup and all of that. We even saw her running around outside with hair color stains on her forehead as if she had done it herself in the bathroom at tiny Adelaide Cottage, right? And if we factor in what we know about what Prince Charles was doing to Diana with the ban on hairspray and other things that were done to try to make life harder for her, imagine what that divorce was like. Ooh. Right? And then in the middle of the last few years, we got that creepy kind of blood-drenched portrait of Charles. Like, why would you want a painting of yourself all in red? It seemed a little diabolical, no? This is a man who was friends with the late Sir Jimmy Savile, right? At whose club the Beatles performed, among others, right? You wonder if this clothing restriction, styling budget cut is an attempt to drive down Kate's value in the media by Charles and or William, along the same idea as celebs who wear the same outfit every time they go out, because it makes paparazzi photos less valuable when they all look the same. They both get upset when someone other than them is popular, and it seems like the fact that so many people were quick to think the worst about them when Kate went missing much of 2024, while simultaneously expressing so much concern for her, it seems like that really got under both Charles and William's skin. They keep making these awful, blundering, controlling man attempts at getting the attention off her and back on themselves, and each one just makes the cracks all the more obvious, and people ask more questions. Queen Elizabeth II was the only thing holding that family together, and now that there's no one to keep the little angry boys in check, they're starting to come apart at high speed, right? They're taking away one of the ways that Kate Middleton connects with people, through her image and her fashion choices. If it's not relatable, it still provides entertainment for a huge portion of the population and also fodder for the toxic British media. Without that, people would be bored of Kate, and maybe that's what they're trying to design, right? It's nice that Kate and William went and worked the baking event together. American social media was appalled when Kate was touching her hair and scalp and then dug the same hands back into the cookie dough. Very unsanitary. But we are guessing that Kate's budget for everything was cut. Cosmetic procedures, wigs, wiglets, extensions, jewelry, and wardrobe, right? Is Kate sending us a message with those long coats? Did that kid's drawing draw attention to the new facial scar on Kate's left side? You know, a lot of subtle things that Kate can do. Maybe she's trying to communicate something to us. What do you think? You know, if designers are still sending her and the kids clothes because they might help them sell out, then what are those items that have sold out? I can't do the math the way that I can with Meghan Markle, because you often see the dress and within a week or 2 weeks, you see on social media that people can't get the item. I don't know that that happens with Kate Middleton, right? If Kate Middleton is speaking in code clothes-wise, right, as we know Queen Elizabeth did, why did the palaces announce in 2022 that the media would no longer report on Kate's clothes? And for the record, that green dress at one of the Earthshot events was an absurdity. When it was placed in front of the green backgrounds, it keyed out, right? The green dress was a nice idea for, you know, green and environmental stuff, but it delivered some of the worst media Facebook visual communication snapshots ever. Green on green. I mean, yeah, in the palace, it probably looked great, but on those sets and against green backgrounds, it was a disaster. Kate looked great, if a little bit under strain, right? We had similar clips from that event where she attempted to hold William's hand and he kind of shook her off, right? We've seen a few of those clips initiated by one or the other of them, right? And then rejected by the other. It's hard to understand why the 96 staffers missed the fact that 90% of Kate's visual positioning at that event would be in front of a green screen. You know, she certainly is able to maintain her figure, and maybe she has, you know, relationships that give her fulfillment in what appears to be a difficult marriage, right? Some people suggest that Kate's restricted clothing choices could either be A, propaganda to make her seem relatable and thrifty to us peasants, or dodgy stripy jumper was the only thing she was seen photographed or photoshopped in 2024. You know, if anyone wants to donate to Kate's clothing fund, I'm going to pass a collection bucket around. The goal is £250,000. It'll be enough to buy Kate 3 new outfits, but, you know, it's a start. Remember, just a few pennies a day can keep Kate in Chanel purses and power suits. Please be generous and donate to a woman in deep, agonizing, terrible need, right? Not homelessness, not hunger, not flood relief, right? Kate and her clothing, priority numero uno, or maybe less of a priority now. Has anyone else noticed that Kate no longer has a new outfit after a new outfit? All the main pieces lately seem to be recycled, which never used to be the case. It's definitely really still interesting to see all the photos of Kate in different outfits. But in recent engagements, including the Wales trip, she's obviously playing the recycle game with her clothes, right? This makes it seem like her clothing allowance may have been part of some separation or divorce deal made. Or maybe they're trying to lower the attention on Kate by making her wear less attention grabbing outfits, right? And have the media been told not to talk about her clothes anymore to take attention away from the fact that she's re-wearing everything she has, right? It's confusing. And of course, it's great that she's re-wearing stuff, but maybe that's something she should have been doing all along, given how massive her wardrobe must be. But it seems like a real departure from what we've seen before, and one person suggests that it might be hard to Photoshop unique garments, right? You think about that stripy shirt. We saw it 3, 4, 5 times in different places, different contexts, to the point where it was just baffling. But if Kate is basically wearing long dresses in dark colors, long coats, you can kind of click on that whole coat and make it blue, make it green, make it seem like there are new pictures and more events, when that might not be the case, especially if the Photoshop is professionally done. AI too, right? Maybe we're seeing images that look more real than the ones we saw during Kate's 2024 9 months of disappearance. Maybe Kate doesn't want us mortals looking at her clothes instead of at the important work she's doing for children, helicopter and airplane rides, whether the Wales couple were in Mustique or Manchester. The fact that Kate thought the sun was good for her during or after cancer treatment is still a head scratcher, y'all. If we recall, before Kate disappeared at the tail end of 2023, she was wearing power suits. She was wearing new power suits all the time. One person guesses that all of Kate's expensive wardrobe is still locked up at apartment 1A in Kensington Palace, and what we're seeing her wear now are the few things she bought since she moved to Adelaide Cottage, and then whatever happened to end up in the closets or storage bins at Anmer Hall or her parents' place Bucklebury. The parade of new clothes seems to have completely stopped. And, maybe Willie is putting the purse squeeze on Kate to force the separation or divorce to move forward. We also see that Kate has not been wearing Big Blue, the engagement ring that she inherited from Princess Diana. All she's got on is the tiny stone consolation ring that could have been purchased at Target or Walmart from the looks of it. Tiny little chips of stones. So inexpensive, not a big, fat, glorious stone that back in the day, Kate was careless enough to go scuba diving in it. You saw her in that ring all the time. Did William take it back? Does William need the Big Blue engagement ring for a different woman? Right? Like father, like son, huh? Indeed, one of the things that Kate wore in Wales was from 2007, right? That's why it makes sense that she might be wearing clothes from storage tubs over at Bucklebury. And I also think that Kate lends and borrows clothes with her mom, and that's why that coat dress kind of 80s aesthetic is very common in her style throughout the years, right? It is pretty dastardly if William is keeping Kate away from her beloved collection of clothing. And maybe, her mom had a stash that Will has no control over. If William is not giving Kate money for new clothes, that is cruel. It's not Charles that would provide money for wardrobes, is it? I mean, especially since William is the Prince of Wales and he gets the Duchy of Cornwall, which is worth $1.3 billion. It doesn't make sense that the dad would support William or Kate anymore that way. Most designers do give people free clothes because, for the clout. And it's a status symbol for a royal family member to wear their designs. But again, I think there's rules about how the royal family can and should accept gifts like that. One person theorized that Kate gets clothes and then wears them like a year later when they're already sold out. So it looks like it was sold out because she wore it. Now, is that true? Could Kate and her Middleton clan, aka Team Rocket, be that scheming to prevent people from gaining promotion from her wearing it, but then also to be credited for items selling out because they've just simply sold out over time at a Zara or at a designer shop? I thought part of Kate's motivation in wearing small designers' clothing was to promote small businesses. Now, is this something that Kate did intentionally, or is it something that Carol Middleton did to, say, if you want Kate to wear this now and help you with sales, that you have to, wet a couple of Middleton beaks, as it were? You would think that the Middletons might ask for tips or kickbacks, something to generate cash flow, since the demise of the Party Pieces dollar store party supply business sustained with laundry-style cash from Uncle Gary Goldsmith. We know that there have been a whole bunch of other money and in-kind donation scandals involving the royal family. Some people say that the royals cannot accept free items, that they have to return them, that it's some kind of policy, but I don't know if that's true. I do know there's been a scandal called Cash for Honors with Prince Charles, where people would give him cash and he would help with like immigration issues and, getting people various medals and honors and investitures and things of that sort. But also, where has Prince Andrew been getting all his cash that he's living off of in that big old estate that he can't really afford to repair? Or is wily Andrew just trying to wait things out for the moment where he can force the crown to pay for repairs to his home? The Michaels of Kent have been discussed in various news articles as accepting money from Russian oligarchs in exchange for access to the leading royals. Even Zara and Mike Tyndall regularly appear as influencers at Cheltenham and also in Australia, and they make a cute coin off their royal connections, right? Another rumor is that since the royals can't accept free clothing, jewelry, accessories, and they need to pay retail price, that the Middleton Team Rocket scheme is that Pippa and Carol get things for free from designers and then pass it on to Kate in order to bypass that rule. The royal family is not officially allowed to receive gifts. They're not supposed to, but they still do. Very expensive jewelry gifts that have been given to them are missing. Yes, and we've discussed it on this channel. Those are not part of the crown jewels, and The Guardian wrote an article on the missing items. Kate was the last to be seen wearing some of that jewelry. I mean, I think the biggest trend in Kate's recent appearances has to be the disappearance of Big Blue. Where is it? Who has it? And are we seeing the authentic ring, or is this just a copy? You know, a lot of people with expensive stone rings will have copies made so that the real one stays locked up securely and they just wear the counterfeit one. But even if it was counterfeit, why? What signal is being sent that, you know, Kate is not only not wearing Big Blue, but her husband is traveling without her? He went to Monaco in January. He went somewhere when Kate and her mama went to Mystique. He went somewhere when Kate and the younger children were skiing with her brother James and his wallet and their son, as well as Zara and Mike Tyndall, I believe. It seems pretty clear that William is keeping money from Kate. And how ironic, right? There's nothing worse than marrying for money to someone who's actually stingy. He's gallivanting around the world, hunting trips and trips to sexy parts of Europe and trips to glorious parts of Europe without her, while she's locked up wherever she lives, or she's staying with her parents. It's too coincidental with the way that Kate's disappeared from the grid and the social schedule, and the limited number of times we've seen them together. A cancer patient, of all people, deserves a new outfit. She certainly does not have access to what she used to have access to, as evidenced by the hair color stained on her face a few months back. It almost looked like a bruise, but you could tell her roots were freshly dyed. Yes, we know women should be more financially independent, but, you know, the trad wife and the pick-me movements want you to believe that you're winning by being provided for by a man. Once that relationship turns, maybe once all the kids are old enough to be in school, once the time is right, you can't go back, right? You can't go back to when he was generous. You can't go back to when he was nice. You can't go back to when he wanted to hang out with you to impregnate you, right? Those days are over. Where is he? What is he doing? We will never know. I don't know if Kate needs to buy her 150th navy dress or a long plaid coat. No one wants to pay for Kate's post-war meets Princess Diana cosplay anymore. Clearly, the wigs and extensions are cheaper and more obvious. Some people say she should cut her hair. I don't agree. I think long hair is great. I just think Kate Middleton deserves to be happy. But living with long-term coercion, control, and maybe even DV, it seems like she needs to get permission to have funds to work on her appearance from William or Buckingham Palace, but you know, our girl has ended up looking dowdy. Years go by, many women, if they're suffering with ill health, change their style. Some people are feeling like Kate just doesn't have style anymore. Maybe her clothing budget was cut. And if she had that budget, she could look more stylish, engage more stylists. But, you know, she seems to have slowed down in copycatting Princess Meghan. Who knows? But it certainly is a curious, ongoing trend for now, right? We'll never know until months have gone by and we see more of this. But how many long dresses with the pussy bow on top do you have? How many long, very fitted coats are in whatever closets that Kate still has access to? It is a very curious trend, and we will certainly be watching this space. Stars, let me know what you think.